congressman about the Titanic expedition and the financial burdens that follow. And a local restaurant is looking for 3 individuals who left a $150 bill on the table. Plus, a PA trooper was laid to rest yesterday. We have a look at the scene.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, a boating dispute incident led to a vehicle getting struck and another behind bars over the weekend. The town of Ellicott police responded to reports of a domestic dispute at the Celeron Park Saturday night. Upon investigation, police determined that the initial incident began while on a boat in Chautauqua Lake that continued into Celeron Park. It was then alleged that 38-year-old Jeffrey Bohall punched the victim's vehicle, causing damage. Bohall was then arrested and given an appearance ticket in the town of Ellicott court for a later date. Well, over a week ago, a submersible on an expedition to the remains of the Titanic went missing. After days of searching, it was found destroyed. We talked to our local congressman in an exclusive interview about the financial burdens this is costing. A once-in-a-lifetime adventure ended in tragedy as a Titanic-bound submersible lost contact an hour and 45 minutes after launching from St. John's, Newfoundland. After a 5-day search, debris from the Titan submersible was found about 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic, 1,300 feet below the ocean surface. It is assumed that the 5 passengers, including CEO Stockton Rush, who co-founded the submersible service company, are dead. The U.S. Navy reports that they detected the implosion in the area where the submersible was lost. Now that things have calmed down, we are seeing the financial impact by searching and now recovery missions, with estimates in the millions of dollars. Currently, there are multiple investigations underway to figure out what led to the catastrophic implosion, costing even more. Our local Congressman Nick Langworthy says that enough is enough.
We have to respond to tragedies, but this response is over as far as I'm concerned. We know the fate of the Titan. These were people that were of great means that spent $250,000 a ticket to go, on some very risky tourism. I'm very sorry that they lost their lives, and you hate to see anyone, meet an untimely demise. But this now we've got other people theoretically risking their lives, us spending hellish amounts of American resources to try to, do investigations here. I think this is a little silly. We know what happened, and I think that that should close matters.
The local congressman has been lockstep in making sure that the U.S. are spending funds accordingly. Well, authorities are looking for these 3 individuals who dined and dashed at a Steamburg restaurant Saturday night. The Hideaway, located at 2597 Route 394 in Steamburg, is looking for 3 individuals who walked out without paying their bill. The trio owed the restaurant and lounge almost $150 for their meal. And normally now we would go to our first weather forecast, but Andrew is working hard to make sure that we have all our coverage with all the smoke coming in our area. And as WNY News Now continues, we do look at that wildfire smoke. And later, we hear from lawmakers on marijuana in Pennsylvania. Stay with us as WNY News Now will be right back.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say, like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
The U.S. Secretary of Education, Miguel Cordero, says a key component of the Investing in America agenda is providing opportunities for students. Now, they also say that he believes the implementation process of this agenda is going well. The Invest in America agenda encompasses a package of national laws, including the American Rescue Plan, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the CHIPS and Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act. Secretary Cordero says that investing in schools and community colleges is a significant part of the Investing in America agenda.
We're giving students opportunities to learn the skills needed for these high-skill, high-paying jobs that, you can make 6 figures without having to have a 4-year degree, without having tons of college debt. That's what this Invest in America process is.
In a panel discussion, many education and manufacturing industry advocates emphasized access and reaching communities, a key element of access to this education. Many advocates emphasized today that the Internet Secretary, Cordero, adds, the White House recently announced more than $40 billion for broadband access. Now, Cordero and others say that there is a federal responsibility to provide the dollars and infrastructure to implement and expand manufacturing education and training programs. While New York Governor Kathy Hochul is urging residents of the Empire State to take precautionary measures as heavy smoke comes into the state from Canadian wildfires. Now, this week, air quality is expected to reach unhealthy levels as smoke rolls into New York State. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and Health has issued an air quality health advisory for Western New York, Central New York, and Eastern Lake Ontario regions for Wednesday. It is also projected to then move to the eastern part of the state on Thursday.
The air quality is deteriorating very quickly in our state as a result of the Canadian wildfires. And that being said, over the next 48 hours, we're anticipating the smoke and the haze to come all across the state. And we've been watching this, monitoring this, and it's going to enter the New York skies tomorrow morning with western and central New York hit first Wednesday.
The air quality is projected to range from unhealthy for sensitive groups to unhealthy for all. While Canadian wildfires are breaking records of damaging much of the world's air quality. The Atmosphere Monitoring Service released a report on the smoke emissions from the wildfires Tuesday. The report found that those fires have led to the highest emissions on the record for the country. The smoky pollution has also impacted North America, leading to significantly degraded air quality throughout the continent. The wildfire's haze has even reached across the Atlantic to the European coast. The Canadian Integrity Forest Fire Center says crews are working on 485 active wildfires in the country, with at least 257 fires described as out of control. More than 80 million people from the Midwest to the East Coast are under air quality alerts. While recreational adult use cannabis is legal in most of Pennsylvania's neighboring states, including New York, New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland as of July 1st. Advocates at the state capitol want the Commonwealth to be next. Our PA State Capitol correspondent Brendan Scanlon has more.
As requested, the rain did go away for Pot Profits for Pennsylvanians, or the P3 campaign's rally this afternoon, but legalizing recreational cannabis in the Commonwealth is a bit more complicated.
It's time to stand together and rally for the legislation of adult use cannabis in our great state.
Kara Zorinsky with P3 says the campaign focuses on unifying rural and urban communities and making sure it's Pennsylvanians that benefit from any cannabis profits, not out-of-state corporations.
We can create a cash crop for struggling farmers, boost small businesses, and revitalize struggling communities.
Some Democratic lawmakers agree and say Pennsylvania can learn from its experience with medical cannabis.
To make sure this business isn't owned by outside corporations, and right now I kind of feel like we're owned by Colorado, New York, and California.
Representative Melissa Schusterman wants to enable local cultivation with a new permit for farmers and other small agricultural ventures.
Enabling local cultivation will allow Pennsylvania farmers and their communities to benefit from legalization of adult use cannabis.
And the weed should be grown here, and the profits should stay here.
Coming up, we have the latest discoveries in the suicide of Jeffrey Epstein. And later, an actor has been found dead. We have the update coming up. But first, we return with a look at our fall weather forecast, and Andrew has more for us on those Canadian wildfires.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macker-mites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense weather.
Welcome back to WNY
WNY News Now. Let's take a look at some of the weather headlines for the rest of the week. While the weather will be drier for today and tomorrow, we will have the smoke to contend with from the Canadian wildfires, and we'll have to contend with that today and heading into tomorrow. The weather will turn unsettled once again by Friday and heading into the weekend as more showers and thunderstorms will return to the region heading into the weekend that could possibly lead to some localized flooding again, and I'll talk about that coming up. As Bronson said a little bit ago, the entire region in western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania are under an air quality alert through midnight tonight. Now, you should consider limiting your time outdoors due to the wildfire smoke, especially the elderly, children, those with pre-existing health conditions. Limit your time outdoors, or you can also wear an N95 mask, and that will help to cut down on air particles coming into your lungs. And this will continue heading into tomorrow. Now, the air quality index measures the air quality out there, and today we're about 150. I looked a few minutes ago, we're around like 170 right now, which is pretty much unhealthy for everyone. So yes, consider limiting your time outdoors. Normally we don't have to deal with this around our region. Normally we are in a good category for western New York, but with the smoke coming back, it's in the unhealthy category. We made it to a high of 68 degrees yesterday in the city of Jamestown. Our low was 58, and the record's 95 is the record high, set back in 1944, and the record low of 39, set back in 1985. So here's what's happening across the Northeast right now. We had that low pressure system bring those showers and thunderstorms the past few days. That is moving out, and a weak ridge of high pressure is going to build in through the rest of the afternoon, and it should scatter out the clouds, although the skies will kind of be not bluish because of the smoke and the haze in the sky. High pressure builds in, and we should be dry through the rest of tomorrow and the rest of this afternoon into tomorrow. First offense Doppler radar right now. What you see across western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania, that is clouds. Not sure if you can see it, but up here over Lake Erie and over into Ontario, Canada, that is the smoke showing up on satellite radar. So these are clouds. That's smoke over there. So you see we still have smoke to contend with, although the smoke will get better as we head in towards the weekend. So here's your first offense weather forecast for the rest of the afternoon out there. Cloudy skies. We should have some partial PM clearing, but again, the skies will be hazy from the smoke with a northwest wind of 8 to 13 miles per hour, and highs today will range from the upper 60s to the lower 70s. And then when we are not live on air and you want to know what's going on in the weather department, you can follow us on the First Offense Weather page on Facebook, my personal weather page, weather forecaster Andrew Stevenson, or WNYNewsNow.com/weather. And now the extended forecast powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Highs today again only in the upper 60s, close to 70. We'll warm it back up tomorrow and Friday in the mid 70s, close to 80. Tomorrow will be dry. We'll bring in a chance for some showers and thunderstorms Friday, and that will continue through the weekend. Chances for showers and thunderstorms with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. And after a few showers early on Monday next week, looking so far right now, Independence Day is looking dry with highs near 80.
All right, Andrew, and if we can ask you, how does this really compare to the smoke from the wildfires we had a few weeks back?
I mean, if you remember, at least you saw this, the skies were orange, so it won't be as bad, but we still have to contend with it, and not those orangey, hazy skies that we saw. But it will get better. Should get a little bit better tomorrow, and by the time the weekend rolls around, we should be done with the smoke as the wind shifted out of the region.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. And now for some headlines from across the nation. For 2 days after Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin called off his abortive immunity, Russia President Vladimir Putin says nothing in public have faced the greatest challenge to his authority in 23 years and almost witnessed his country tip into civil war. Many expected the president to respond with sound and fury. When Putin finally addressed the nation again on Monday, he was remarkably calm. And as of Tuesday, he is trying to project an image of control. Matthew Chance reports from Moscow.
This is Kremlin damage control in full swing, using the trappings of the Russian presidency to patch up Putin's battered image and to portray a deal ending the armed Wagner rebellion here as a feat not of weakness, but of national unity. The Kremlin insists Putin's biggest challenge in 23 years of power is actually bringing Russia closer together. The problem is, that's not entirely true. Images of Russians cheering Wagner forces will have sent chills through the Kremlin. Not all Russians welcomed the mutiny, but few turned out to resist it either, despite what the Kremlin says. And what of the man who exposed this serious crack in Kremlin authority? Yevgeny Prigozhin, the Wagner leader, has now arrived in neighbouring Belarus, according to its officials, after charges of insurrection against him and his fighters in Russia were dropped. It's possible Wagner fighters could now work alongside the Belarusian military, suggests Alexander Lukashenko, the country's leader, although he said no camps for them had yet been built. The Russian Defense Ministry says the mercenary group must first surrender its heavy weapons. And the Kremlin, which now admits fully funding Wagner, says it will investigate how more than $1 billion recently paid for salaries and bonuses was really spent. Back at the Kremlin, a minute's silence for the Russian pilots killed in Prigozhin's uprising. Putin may find it hard to forgive a man who shattered his image of control and who, he says, stabbed Russia in the back. Matthew Chance, CNN Moscow.
A report out Tuesday says that Jeffrey Epstein was able to kill himself in jail due to careless but not criminal behavior. That determination is from the Justice Department's Office of the Inspector General. It says multiple employees failed to conduct rounds when Epstein was at the New York City's Metropolitan Correctional Center in 2019. The report says that Epstein should have roomed with a fellow inmate since he was on suicide watch, and he shouldn't have had extra linens. The medical examiner says he used them to hang himself. Epstein's death 35 days after his arrest on charges of sex trafficking minors is a source of conspiracy theories and intrigue. Two guards say that on the night of Epstein's death, he later admitted to falsifying records. They agreed to perform community service as part of a deferred prosecution with the DOJ. In California, investigators have confirmed the identity of a body found on Mount Baldley Saturday. As suspected, the remains were positively identified as 65-year-old Julian Sands. The actor disappeared on the mountain in January after failing to return from a hike. His body was found in the general area where he was last known to be. Sands is best known for his roles in movies like Ocean's 13 and A Room with a View. The actor, who also appeared in TV shows like 24 and Smallville, was an active outdoorsman. San Bernardino Sheriff's deputies say the manner of his death is still under investigation. While next, we look into the funeral proceedings for a PA trooper who was killed in a shooting.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Hi everyone, Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Right here, baby. Look. Oma.
Noah. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
The Bayfront Convention Center became the scene for a moving funeral service for Pennsylvania State Police Trooper Jack Braju Jr. Erie News Now's Lisa Adams has more.
The funeral at the Bayfront Convention Center was so big, family and friends were transported in by bus. A sea of law enforcement officers filling the convention center from end to end. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro was first to speak, saying that tears for the loss of 29-year-old State Trooper Jacques Rougeau, a hero, stretch all across the Commonwealth.
Jay's life was stolen from us because he drove toward danger to protect the rest of us. We should celebrate his heroism, and we must never forget it.
Rougeau's flag-draped casket and photograph rested alongside a state patrol car, a nod to his duty and sacrifice. Sergeant Jonathan Colarusso of Troop J, where Trooper Rougeau worked until March, spoke with admiration for a trooper on the rise.
Speaking from the heart, I absolutely love this kid. He had every quality and capability all of us would want in a law enforcement officer, a spouse, a son, a brother, and a friend.
Sergeant Lucas Rankin of Troop G in Lewistown spoke next. Although Trooper Rougeau hadn't been there long, his goals and his humility were on full display, quickly endearing him to his peers.
The corporals even started calling him Stealth Fighter because of the way he conducted himself. He never wanted the attention put on him.
Then with courage and bravery, widow Chloe Rougeau gave the eulogy, opening her broken heart.
He ran toward gunfire on his day off. That's who Jay was, a protector, a hero. His life was taken from him. He deserved more than this.
There were prayers, hymns, and a musical moment of amazing grace from Commander Richard Manning of the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office.
I once was lost, but now I'm found.
Then, after sharing memories of Rougeau's youth and character, the honor guard of trooper pallbearers and the crowd of law enforcement officers watched a hero go. Pastor Brian Ice reminding those gathered, this is not goodbye.
In our loss and in our tragedy today, it is still Auf Wiedersehen, for we will see him again.
Lisa, thank you so much. Really, what a moving story. We're joined here with Andrew right now, and he's going to update us on the smoke in our region. Andrew?
Are we able to bring up the, yes, there's the map right now. If you ever want to check out what the air quality is across the region, does it take any special technology or anything? You just have to go to airnow.gov, type in your location, you'll get a general idea of what the air quality is. As you can see right now, most of Western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania are in the red, and right now the current reading in Erie, Pennsylvania is 186, so that's pretty unhealthy. And you get out towards Cleveland and they're over 200, which is very unhealthy for everyone out there. So if you ever just want to check what the air quality is, you can check it out at airnow.gov and type in your location, and you'll get an up-to-date on what the air quality is in your region.
That's really crazy. See, parts of it are actually purple, which is hazardous for everyone.
And then you get into, like, I don't see it on the map, the over 300, and that's just, that's bad, very bad out there. I don't see that on the map except for that one spot over Lake Erie. You can see it's like 254 there.
but we'll be sure to keep you updated on this at all times with WNY News Now. Andrew is on top of it. And another note for us is this is our last show of this week. Now, there are big changes coming here at WNY News Now, so we won't have an actual broadcast for the rest of this week, but we'll hopefully be there for you starting next Monday. But that's all the time we have for today. We will leave you with this live look over a smoky Chautauqua Lake.